Today we're going to do a pick a card with the intention of getting information for you about how you can move forward in your life. So if there's any area of your life that has been feeling stuck lately, or frankly for a long time, my intention with this reading is to get some information for you, like Spirit, what does the viewer need to know in order to no longer be stuck and to move forward? So because this is a pick a card, I would encourage you to pause this video and see which card is calling you. I will timestamp each reading, each card's reading in the description box of this video. But at this point, pause this now and decide which card is calling you, card 1 or card 2. Welcome back. This reading's for you if you picked card 1. So what we're going to do is see what card 1 is, and then we're going to do a clarifier or two from the Prism Oracle deck, this deck here, and then we will finish off with the book Method of Divination with this book called The Invitation by Oriah. So your card is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So let's start with, maybe I'll put this here. Let's start with clarifier 2, please. Clarifier 2 for the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Stop in reverse. I just felt called to look at the bottom of the deck too, and that was isolation. So I'm going to keep that in there in case. I don't feel like it's the bottom of the deck card though. Just a clarifier. Okay. So we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse, stop in reverse, isolation upright. Okay, I'm just getting the sense that I need one more tarot card here to clarify the Six of Pentacles. So I actually feel like stop goes here, isolation clarifies stop. And then we've got the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so one more clarifier, please. One card to clarify Six of Pentacles in reverse. One more card, please. Moving forward is what you need to know at the time you view this video in order to move forward in a powerful way. Whatever area of life you have been feeling stuck in lately or for a long time, there it is. Two of Swords. Okay, that feels like a little more information for me. All right, Six of Pentacles in reverse clarified by the Two of Swords. We also have the clarifier of stop in reverse clarified by isolation. So we're clarifying upon clarifying upon clarifying. Let's see what message wants to come through now. Let me take a moment with these cards. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is look at how this stop is almost similar to the Two of Swords with that X in the middle. And if you think of like the standard or the traditional Two of Swords, you have the person, she's blindfolded, and her arms are like in an X, I believe, with swords over her. So that's noteworthy to me here. And so I almost get the sense that stop in reverse is clarifying the Six of Pentacles this way, and then Two of Swords is clarifying it this way. So I guess another way to say that is just these are clarifiers for the Six of Pentacles. So let's start with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. I think what it's acknowledging is that, so this reading is done with the intention to get you more information about how you can move forward in any area of your life that you're feeling stuck. So the Six of Pentacles, when it's upright, to me, can often mean a tangible rebalancing happening, because sixes in the tarot, to me, oftentimes can symbolize some sort of rebalancing occurring. Pentacles have the symbolism of like what's happening in your physical life in the physical sense. So that could be with your physical body. That can be like in terms of physical resources such as time and money. It's just like kind of tangible stuff, which makes sense because a lot of times when we're stuck in our life, we feel stuck because something in the tangible world is not moving, right? So I wish we were all like just super creative beings and spiritual beings, and we could feel like without needing tangible evidence, we could feel when something is stuck. But I think if you're like me and a lot of people, it's usually what happens is our tangible life has to give us information about something we're unclear about that's happening in the non-physical sense. Is this resonating? So I think that's the first thing that wants to be said, or a main thing that wants to be said in this reading, is something is not moving forward in the tangible sense, which is represented by Six of Pentacles in reverse. So something is not rebalancing in the tangible sense, because it's not because you're being punished. It simply is because it has a message for you. Okay, so the more you can, instead of like holding it at an arm's length away, being upset about it, the more you can move towards it and get curious about it, the more you're going to be able to unlock, decode the message that it has for you. And from that decoding, from getting the message from the messenger, you're going to be able to move forward in a strong way. So again, the first thing that wants to be said is the thing that's stuck is actually not the problem. It's just the messenger. And if you're willing to get curious about the message, what message it has, instead of just like condemning the messenger, there's going to be a lot of insight there for you. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just like really noticing how similar these colors are. So see that pillar right there, and see how similar these colors are. I'm not sure what the message is there yet. Just wanted to mention it while I was thinking about it. So, okay. So with that said, I think what the stop and the sword energy are saying is this might be more of what is going on in the non-physical sense, that this stuckness, so whatever's stuck in your life in the tangible sense, in your physical world, is trying to get your attention about what the Two of Swords and stop in reverse is trying to say. So what I feel like they're trying to say is they're kind of similar here. They have similar messages, a little different. So let me kind of voice out what's coming to me. So the first and maybe most obvious is the message from stop in reverse, which is simply there needs to be more stopping and reflecting. Okay, so there's some things in your life, or I'm getting the sense there's some things in your life that are on autopilot that maybe you don't even recognize are on autopilot. And that's part of what, again, whatever is not moving in the tangible sense, whatever's not rebalancing in your life, that's part of its message, is to get your attention about what's on autopilot. Because with stop and reverse, it's like, go. It seems sort of obvious, but not in a, it's not like a green card, right? So stop and reverse doesn't necessarily, in this, the vibe it's giving me in this reading, it's like, it's not like a go in a, go in a good way. It's like there's not reflection happening. And it is sort of interesting that stop and reverse would come up in a reading where we're asking to move forward, right? Because like upright, you're not moving forward, but then in reverse, it's not like go. Do you know what I'm saying? So I definitely think there's a message here, because if it was like a go card, like let's say like Eight of Wands comes out, right? Eight of Wands to me can often mean go, like build momentum, go. This is not giving me that sort of vibe. I feel like what it's telling me, again, is that stop is not happening as much as it could be. Therefore, so meaning like just stop, bringing some things to awareness, reflecting, right? And so there's things on autopilot that I think you may not be aware are on autopilot, which brings us to this Two of Swords conversation. Because a lot of times what Two of Swords can represent to me is like being unaware that we have a choice, or resisting choice energy. So with Two of Swords, it can be hard. It can be a sign that we're not seeing things quite clearly. It can also be a sign we don't want to see things clearly. I guess they're kind of one and the same, but hopefully you understand what I mean. Like a resisting to seeing things clearly, but then there's also a resistance to holding our sword of choice. Because a lot of times that's what sword energy can represent to me. It represents just like clear cut energy. It represents, in the best sense, understanding we have choice, right? So Two of Swords, the message is, again, there might be a resistance to choice, or a lack of understanding that there is choice. Because, with these two cards playing off of each other, stop and reverse and the Two of Swords, again, I think there's some sort of whatever is not moving forward in your life in the tangible sense. I believe there is some sort of message there that something is on autopilot and you're unaware that it is even on autopilot. So you're unaware of your choice in the matter. Again, that's what Two of Swords plus that stop and reverse feels like to me. So the cool thing, again, I just like can't get over this light gray. I'm trying to figure out when it's upright, it's like this. When it's, I don't know exactly. Maybe you're getting something with it. But I think part of the solution is creating some space in your life, creating some space in your psyche so that you're able to decode what is on autopilot. Or maybe more, I guess that's one way to put it. I was going to say you're able to decode the message that whatever is stuck in the tangible sense is trying to get your attention about in the intangible sense. So there just seems to be like some space that is wanting to be had in order to, again, bring to a level of consciousness what was on autopilot that you're unaware was, and bring some level of choice to it. I cannot get over this pillar. I'm just like trying to figure out what it's trying to tell me. Please give me a moment here. I'm noticing. Okay, this is interesting. So this, do you see how? So what we want is Six of Pentacles to flip from reverse to upright, right? In this particular reading, because it's speaking about moving forward, right? And there's a with the energy of the Six of Pentacles upright often represents to me a rebalancing in a beautiful way happening in the tangible sense. And so I think, do you see how, like, look at how that almost feels like the Two of Swords right there, and that almost feels like the stop, and then this almost feels like the isolation. Number one, I think that's a validation that these were the clarifiers. But more than that, I feel like there's something here about the willingness to cultivate space is what like has more of an impact. It almost like feels like a graph bar to me. does that make sense? And like this one's making the most difference. Do you know what I mean? It has potential to grow, and then this one's like kind of stuck. Do you get what I mean? So I definitely think like these cards are clarifying the message of this in reverse, and this card is clarifying what needs to be done in order to change it. Is that making sense? And so I think the key here is isolation. Now, isn't it interesting how this card feels so different when we have these cards around it? It's like pulling these colors a little bit. It feels a little chaotic, doesn't it? But then when we just have these two cards, do you feel how it feels just a little calmer? And I mean, I think that's one of the messages, like what would help you move forward at the time of this reading. And it's going to be that a calming, soothing energy. So there's going to be some space that may need to happen, that you may need to build within your life, wherever. I mean, honestly, what's coming to me right now is wherever you feel like you can't build space is probably where you need to look at why. Does that make sense? Because that is usually when we feel the most like claustrophobic in the energetic sense, is where the most information is and where the most chaotic energy under the surface is happening. So if we can look, the place where you feel like you absolutely couldn't build space, if you're willing to look at that, that's going to be huge. So you don't have to know what to do with that. You don't even have to, and you don't even have to work towards building space immediately. But if you're just willing to look and be like, whoa, that area of my life is pretty intense. That area of my life feels pretty contracted. That area of my life feels pretty chaotic. Like there isn't a rebalancing happening. I think there's certainly information there. And the first step is, again, like we talked about at the beginning, a willingness to get curious. Okay, so now let's do the book method of divination from the invitation to see if there's any further messages for you. Ooh, look at this. It opened to the fire. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. Interesting. Oh my gosh, that's literally what we were just talking about in terms of like going towards the messenger instead of away from it. And the paradox is like isolation seems like, or space. So there's like there's a message here of going towards plus space. Do you know what I mean? So there's a little paradox here where it's like, in order to move towards the center, the fire of whatever it is that feels stuck for you, some space needs to be cultivated so that you can discern, you have some space to discern what the messages are. Okay, so I'm going to read that one more time. The fire. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you'll stand, I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. Oh my gosh, and like look at these bright orange flowers we have in the reading today. Definitely symbolizing fire. Now oh my gosh, in red, we've got the red stop sign, red fire. And I think Two of Swords, the Two of Swords message is often like, I don't want to stand in the fire. I don't want to get to the heart of the matter. I don't want to see my choice in the matter. I don't want to see. And this instead is like a willingness. So what do you need in order to move forward? What do you need to know in order to move forward with whatever feels stuck for you right now? It's like a willingness to move towards the discomfort instead of away from. Because we often hold things at arm's length away, like energetically, because we feel like it's going to keep us safe, right? I mean, I've been there. I'm there all the time, right? But the reality is it doesn't actually keep us safe. We have to be willing to go into it, go towards it, get its information, get curious about it. Otherwise, we never untangle it. We never unlock it. We never figure it out. We never decode the message. So there's like a permission slip. It's really beautiful, actually, because I'm getting the sense that you likely have, in this resistance, there's been a lot of pain. Do you know what I'm saying? And so a permission slip to step towards what's going on instead of having to hold it with that resistance feels like a relief in my body for you. And so I hope it's landing in the same way for you. It's definitely a beautiful permission slip. It's certainly not like you should have done this already sort of, dictate from spirit. It's more just like, okay, honey bunny, like Mama God's coming in and she's like, you don't have to hold this. It's too heavy. What if you just like let the resistance down, and what if I helped you walk towards it and solve it, and figure it out? And what if, and one of my favorite, mantras, it comes from a divine feminine deck that I have, and it's, I am safe and divinely protected. And so whenever I am in a season or in a moment of walking into the fire, to the center of the fire, or I'm contemplating doing it, I like to say that to myself over and over. I'm safe and divinely protected. Because the reality is I feel as though Mama God is always willing to like protect us when we're willing to get to the heart of matters, but our human conditioning has made it feel really, really unsafe. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I think sometimes our humanness needs that reminder that we are protected, respected, and supported in the pursuit of going to the center of the fire. And that's, frankly, our culture is built in the exact opposite way. It's basically like, never get to the heart of the matter, don't get to the root of the issue, just kind of glaze over everything, just make sure things in your life look good. But as long as everything looks good, then everything's fine. And then meanwhile, things are rotting from the inside out, right? And most of the time our culture is like screaming, don't look at it, don't look at it, don't look at it. So it's not our fault that we're so scared of it, is what I'm trying to say. And it's not our fault that we've, held things at, we've resisted things to try to keep ourselves safe. That is really expected in terms of how we've been trained by our culture. And it is not the way of Mother God. It's not the way of Mother Nature. The way of Mother Nature is get to the heart of the matter, get to the root of the issue, go to the center of the fire, and I will be backing you. I will be holding you. I will be helping you. We have to be willing to go. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like there's something here about letting your guard down a little bit and be willing to go. I think that's it from this book. So I'm just going to put that down for now. So I think there's a willingness. It's kind of like two sides of the same coin. And it's like, one way to say it is a willingness to step towards the center, or step towards the discomfort, whatever's not changing in your life. Step towards it, get information towards the center of the fire. Another way to say it is this is a big, giant permission slip from the universe, from Spirit, from Mother God, whatever resonates with you, where you don't have to carry this resistance anymore. Because although the resistance, again, seems like it's keeping you safe, that's why we implement resistance. It's a weird way to put it, but that's what came out. It's actually so heavy. It's such a burden, right? And so there's like this permission slip that's saying, you don't have to hold this burden anymore. I'm going to walk with you to the center of the fire. We're going to get the information we need. We're going to do the healing we need. And then the rebalancing can happen from stuck, not rebalancing, to the opposite. Not stuck, moving forward, and rebalancing. So let's take a breath on that. I know it's not always like the most fun thing to hear, that we got to step into the fire, but I also know from my own experience that it's also not fun to stay stuck and not know why. Do you know what I mean? And so there is some relief in not having to put up our barriers against the fire, right? And then, think of that symbolism or that metaphor, even like when we step to the center of the fire, we really are burned up, right? Which is terrifying. Metaphorically, it's also very beautiful because we get to have a sort of rebirth in that process, right? And so I think there's certainly a strong potential for this beautiful, beautiful rebirth and rebalancing that is ready to happen in your life, that wants to happen. And I think, honestly, it's just like a little bit of curiosity and willingness can begin to unlock it. So I hope you found that helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back. This reading is for you if you picked card 2. Now, guess what? I have a surprise for you. Your card is actually 3 cards. When I was shuffling the deck and getting the cards for these readings, I had 3 cards come out face down the first time. And then I was like, nope, that's too many. And then, almost immediately after that, I continued shuffling. And then I had 3 cards come out again face down. So I decided that was a sign that we needed to go with 3 cards. So let's see what they are. Okay, we have the Empress, 6 of Swords, and the Moon in reverse. Now I'd like to also get one clarifier here with the Prison Oracle. Oh, there it is. Death in reverse. Yeah, I feel like that might go with the Moon. Okay. All right. Actually, I just feel like I want to do that. Might just be for a visual sense, or there might be messages with the rearrangement of the card. I'll let you know in a moment. Okay, so again, the cards that came out were the Empress, 6 of Swords, the Moon in reverse, and Death in reverse. So we're going to read the cards, and then I'm going to do the book method of divination with this book, the invitation, to see if there's any further messages. Okay, so the energy actually feels pretty clear to me from the onset. So we are looking for information for you at the time you view this video about how you can move forward in your life. So whatever area of your life has felt stuck recently or for a long time, how can you move forward? So I feel like the first thing that wants to be addressed is this Empress and the Six of Swords. So I feel like what wants to be said is that you are already in a strong position. Does that make sense? You know, the Empress is a very beautiful card. It's got abundant energy. There's dignity and strength to her. There's like feminine strength to the Empress. And the Six of Swords is a really beautiful card as well. And gosh, I'm just like getting struck by how these colors are playing off the flowers. Like we've got a little bit of yellow, we've got a little bit of pink. It's just, we've got some orange going on. It's just really beautiful. But what I was saying before is the Six of Swords is like, there's a kind of a moving on to calmer shores sort of energy with it. It's, you know, sixes often to me can represent a rebalancing that has happened after a turbulent time. Swords can represent like clear-cut energy. So with swords, there's like, I think about strategies, I think about boundaries, I think about just, again, that like clear-cut energy, or at least in terms of the positive sense of each card, or of the swords, that's what I think about. So I feel like what wants to be said is you're in a stronger position than you think, okay? So what I feel like might be keeping you stuck is this message from the Moon in reverse and Death in reverse. I think that, so let's talk about the Moon, I guess, first. The Moon upright, what can it represent? It can represent things like allowing willingness to go into the unknown, the power of mystery, willingness to trust your intuition as you take steps in the dark, so to speak. So there's a, and okay, so sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So with that being said, I think what may be causing the stuckness is a fear of that. Is that making sense? Now the Moon is clarified by Death in reverse. So there's a sense here that if you were to begin to take steps into the unknown, if you were begin to trust the power of mystery, if you were willing to like trust that you have a really solid foundation, whether you know you do or not, you might have it outwardly. It also might be a foundation within in terms of the healing work you've done, the spiritual work you've done, your awareness, your knowledge of self, your willingness to self-reflect. All that's creating a seen or unseen or both very strong foundation, right? But what's happening is there's this fear that it kind of feels like the Moon would, if it was upright, it would take everything to the next level, right? And taking anything to the next level means that a part of us or an old version of us has to die, right? And so I think you're protecting a past version of yourself. Is that resonating? Take a breath on that. Are you in fact staying stuck because you're protecting a past version of yourself? And there's some fear here of maybe going into the unknown or trusting the mystery. And rightfully so, like who wants to do that? We're all just trying to keep ourselves safe here as humans on planet Earth. And you know, as beautiful as mystery is, as beautiful as the unknown is, it is frankly scary. As beautiful as death is, it is frankly scary, right? But I definitely get the sense that when you are baby step by baby step more willing to flip the Moon and Death upright, so you're willing to grieve the past, even a part of that, I was thinking, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just like suddenly felt, I think I had a dream, but I'm sure I did, but I couldn't remember it. But I suddenly just felt like super embarrassed about like past versions of myself. Have you ever had that? and there was like almost, it was more than embarrassment. It was almost like embarrassment to the point of grief. Is that making sense at all? But what got me out of kind of the rabbit hole of embarrassment slash grief was realizing that there's a lot of beauty in being embarrassed of your past self because it means you've truly grown, right? And so I just think true growth requires letting past people go. It requires letting things go. It requires letting versions of ourselves go. True growth requires us to look back on ourselves and be embarrassed, right? True growth also requires going into the unknown. True transformation is made up of trusting mystery, of allowing the power of mystery to work its magic. And so I mean, the cool part about this reading, I mean, there's so many cool parts actually, but what I think really wants to be said is like, you have so much more going for you than you think. I don't know why that sounded weird. Did I say it right? You get the point. You've got a strong foundation, okay? And there's a permission slip here to say goodbye to parts of yourself, to being willing to trust in the mystery, and realizing that's what's going to unlock it. So it's kind of a paradox. Like, unlocking new beginnings requires getting intimate with endings. That's, I think, probably the biggest thing that wants to be said to you at the time you view this video, is realizing that grief is a part of unlocking joy. Death is a part of unlocking new beginnings. Unknown is a part of establishing security. Like, there's massive paradox in life and in your reading. And I think the more you can welcome that paradox in, notice it, understand it's a valid and important part of the transformation process, the more whatever area of life you are feeling stuck in is going to begin to move forward. Because the irony I'm really feeling is it's definitely, and I say this with the kindest heart, but it's definitely you stopping it. And as I say that, like, it's always, no matter who it is at any time in any topic, it's always us to some degree stopping it. Like, here, the game on planet Earth as human beings seems to be just like, how much can we limit ourselves, and then how much can we transmute that, recognize it, and live in an unlimited way. So you're definitely not alone in this. And the reason I say that is simply because I think with a little more awareness and willingness to see these things, there's some pretty easy unlocking that can happen. Because I almost wonder if just like, if it's been when things like a little bit of discomfort, like a little bit of grief arises, a little bit of sadness that maybe you're not friends with people you were friends with in the past, or sadness and you don't even know why. It's been my experience that that's a part of the change process. You just feel kind of weird and sad because you're not who you used to be, and you knew who you used to be. You know what I mean? Like, moon in reverse can represent the known. Moon upright can represent the unknown. It's like you knew who you used to be, so there's some sadness and weirdness in not knowing who you are. So my point is, I'm almost getting the sense that you've had these like ninglings of feelings, and it's been kind of like, then you're going 2 steps forward, and then you go 1 step back in your healing journey, in your transformation journey, in any area of your life where you're wanting to get unstuck. And I'm just getting the sense that if you're willing to recognize those feelings in a different way and almost see them as good, not bad, maybe put another way is just like a natural part of the positive change and transformation process, then just a willingness to see them differently is going to allow them to do their work. And in that, an entire full transformation can happen. You can move forward in whatever area of your life has felt stuck up until this point. It's very exciting. So let's end with the book method of divination from this book, The Invitation. I open to beauty. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty. Wow. That's interesting, isn't it? That's basically what we were just talking about, how like the paradox of life, right? Like, that's a beautiful way just to like embody paradox. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty, right? So like, can you see death beyond, can you see life beyond death. That doesn't even feel accurate. It's like, can you see life happening in the death process? Do you know what I mean? Can you see beauty happening in what looks, in grief, frankly, in what looks hard? Wow, that's wild. Okay, I'll read the whole thing now. I want to know if you can see beauty, even when it's not pretty, every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. Wow, and that feels like the Empress. The Empress knows where she sources life from. Maybe put a different way, she knows the source of life is life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're always connected to life. You know, Daryl Inca, who channels Bashar, says, like, if you exist, you will always exist, and you've never not existed. Like, so put another way, existence is an indication. Existence alone is an indication that you are connected to life. And so the Empress knows that. You know what I mean? So not only is she aware of, like, in a tangible sense, like where sources of things are coming from and making sure it's really healthy. So not only is the Empress very aware of things like sustainability in her life in all regards, healthy relationship dynamics, where she might be triggered and what to do about that. Empress energy is, very aware and understands things at the source. Does that make sense? But put another way, she also is reminded of the most basic but powerful principle of life, and that is life is life. If you exist, you are life, and you are connected to the most powerful source anywhere. There's nothing outside of life. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I think that as you're walking this journey of allowing a death and rebirth to happen, of allowing yourself to go towards and through the unknown, to trust the power of mystery, I think if you can come back to the basic but powerful principles of Empress energy, of life force energy, which is simply life is life. And I am connected to life. Life is beauty, and there is beauty in and paradox. Like, I think paradox is a part of life too. And when we can get to paradoxes, typically we've gotten to the juicy part of what we need to know or what we're living. And that is, like, there's a lot of beauty in things that aren't messy. Or, excuse me, there's a lot of beauty in things that are messy, right? And maybe the reason I said that is maybe that's one of the reasons that you've felt stuck lately or for a while. And it's that you've been operating under the assumption that there's only beauty in things that aren't messy. And so you've been, like, avoiding the mess, right? And I get that. Oh my God, do I get that? And I also know that I like to say mess is the mark of a maverick. Like, you cannot get anywhere without mess, because we have to disrupt what we've known in the past. And so I think the more you can recognize the beauty in mess, the more you're going to be willing to make a little mess, to move in the direction, to move forward, to move in the direction of more true beauty. Do you know what I mean? So to move beyond pretty, how things look, and to move to true beauty, how things are, who you're being. So it's very exciting, really, not to be cliche or punny, but it's very beautiful. I'm really excited for you. And I honestly think, although these are big energies, the death energy, the unknown mystery energy, I also am getting the sense that it's just like it's little tweaks, and it's when you feel them a little bit, just not pushing them down, just letting them be there. And again, labeling them as a natural good part of your journey versus something you need to avoid. I feel like that's all that's needed for it to flip upright, and then to begin to have forward progress moving in the area of your life where you are seeking that. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in.